Okay, it's 5 o'clock. Time to call this meeting to order. Special meeting, no, normal meeting, special meeting. Okay. I need someone to introduce.
Do we need to take roll?
Special meeting. Do we do on special meetings? Yeah. We don't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, take roll. Mr. Clement.
Here.
Mr. Taylor.
Here.
Mr. Childs. Me, here. Mr. Booth.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
All right, ordinance 22-84, need someone to introduce it, please?
I'll introduce.
Thank you. I'll read it. Matt, Justin, you just take the.
I got it.
All right.
Ordinance, Doug didn't have his pen. My pen broke. Ordinance 20, someone left one here for me.
Ordinance 22-84, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into the sub-grant contract for the Survivor Advocacy Outreach Program of the city for declaring an emergency. Whereas the city of Nelsonville is participating in turning over a new leaf for the Appalachian families by using health, wealth, and technology as medicine project for funding as part of the Survivor Advocacy, I can't say that word, Outreach Appalachian Community Grant Program's Round 1 Development Grant Proposal. Whereas the city needs to enter into the sub-grant contract as attached as Exhibit 1. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Council of the City of Nelsonville, Athens County, Ohio, as follows. Number 1, the city manager is hereby authorized to sign and enter into the sub-grant contract for funding as part of the Survivor Advocacy Outreach Application Community Grant Programs Round 1 Development Grant Proposal attached and here and incorporated by reference to this ordinance as Exhibit 1. 2, this ordinance is being passed as an emergency measure pursuant to ORC 731-30, Article 4, Sections 4.09 through 4.11 as an emergency in the operation of the city government and is necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, safety, morals, or welfare of the city. And this ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon its adoption. Duly enacted by council on first reading under suspension of the rules on the 6th day of December 2022. Okay, any council discussion on said matter? Motion to suspend.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mr. Childs.
Yes.
Mr. Numpty. Yes. Mr. Booth.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Clement.
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Childs.
Yes.
Mr. Numpty. Yes. Mr. Booth.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Clement.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Resolution 2282. Need someone to introduce it, please?
I will.
Thank you, sir. Resolution 2282, a resolution to endorse, authorize, and participate in the turning over a new leaf for Appalachian families by using health, wealth, and technology as medicine project for funding as part of the Survivor Advocacy Outreach Appalachian Community Grant Programs Round 1 Development Grant Proposal and declaring an emergency. Whereas the city of Nelsonville wishes to endorse the turning over a new leaf for Appalachian families by using health, wealth, and technology as medicine project for funding as part of the Survivor Advocacy Outreach Programs Lead Applicant Appalachian Community Grant Programs Round 1 Development Grant Proposal. Whereas the Appalachian Community Grant Program, AGCP, created by House Bill 377, provides support to transformational projects within the 32-county Ohio Appalachian region related to infrastructure, workforce, and healthcare. Whereas a combined effort of Square One, the Gloucester Revitalization Organization, the Survivor Outreach Program, Dirty Girl Coffee, Ohio University Russ College of Engineering, Vitruvian building houses made by robots, engineer profiles, the city of Nelsonville, the social enterprise ecosystem, and Capstone Property Management. The project will impact 6 communities in 5 counties and address all 3 ACGP funding properties, i.e. infrastructure, workforce, and healthcare. Whereas the collaboration will transform the workforce development opportunities for everyone living within these communities by building the infrastructure shovel-ready project that is needed in order to address the social determinants of health, SDH, and create economic mobility opportunities for the most vulnerable people within our communities. People who experience generational poverty, suffer trauma as a result of the drug epidemic, and survivors of crime will be connected with opportunities for advancement following an evidence-based model that will address SDH, such as housing, education, employment, transportation, childcare, and food. All these services will be provided as part of an existing model that increases economic mobility while creating a resilient workforce that will attract additional employers to the region. Whereas 3D printed homes will be created, shovel-ready project, to alleviate the housing shortage within our region, which is expected to increase when Intel opens its chip factory in Licking County. Thousands of employees will require housing and will look to southeastern Ohio for picturesque views of the countryside, decreasing the housing availability for low-income families. Beyond transforming housing resources by creating affordable options, houses made by robots will move equipment to the region to 3D print homes and create workforce development and training opportunities for SAOP clients interested in developing new skills and learning technology. Whereas beyond transforming the housing industry in the region by 3D printing housing units, this project will launch an additive manufacturing home building workforce development program that will develop an alternative carbon-based vertical construction material supply chain and expand community-based mortgage lending programs for home ownership and establishing trauma-informed property management / construction services necessary for addressing the social determinants of health, SDH previously mentioned. Whereas to address SDH, our program addresses the substance abuse and trauma caused by establishing 4 holistic workforce development programs, i.e. new leaf recovery villages in downtown Nelsonville, Athens, Gloucester, and Middleport, serving Athens, Hocking, and Meigs counties. New leaf recovery villages will include subsidized employment programs for individuals / families impacted by trauma and substance misuse, transitional housing opportunities, private / public community meeting spaces, healthy local food access, childcare, recovery / counseling services, and case management. Whereas mental health services will be expanded by establishing 2 mental health / trauma centers in Gallipolis and Athens, serving Gallia and Athens County to include mobile and telemental health services. Whereas the Ford's partnerships for this project will enhance medical care and criminal justice service for child and disabled adult victims of sexual abuse and neglect by establishing a combined adult and child advocacy center in Athens, serving Athens, Meigs, and Hocking counties. Whereas this project, as part of the ACGP, will be transformative for the project area while improving infrastructure, healthcare, and workforce components to support economic opportunities for local people and create a resilient workforce. Whereas this goal can only be achieved for the Appalachian region by expanding the mental health / trauma services for those who have experienced generational poverty. We must prevent violence before it occurs and put families impacted by trauma / substance misuse back on the path to economic security, create pathways to stable housing / home ownership, and positioning Southeastern Ohio to be an incubator for the affordable 3D printed housing and advanced construction materials industry. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of Nelsonville, Ohio, 1, that the City of Nelsonville wishes to partner with Survivor Advocacy Outreach Programs on the technical assistance application described above and authorizes Survivor Advocacy Outreach Programs to apply on its behalf to the Appalachian Community Grant Program for the aforementioned planning project, duly enacted on council on first reading on the 6th day of December 2022. Any council discussion on said matter?
Can I just give a real quick?
Absolutely.
So what was just read is the entire project that we are supporting as a city. Our portion of that is from the city is Washington Street. So what we are asking for is a $1.4 million project that is just our piece of it. And what that is replacing the sidewalks that haven't already been replaced as part of the downtown revitalization. So going from Stewart's Opera House towards Jefferson Street, that'll be replacing sidewalks and making them ADA compliant that haven't already been replaced down through there, 5 feet wide with ADA access. And then the street lights will be replaced with the decorative street lights, the dual decorative street lights that we already have. Going the other way, in front of their building, the SAOP building, the blue building that they just refurbished, that's where it stopped before. So there, the sidewalks will get redone with the brick inlay. If you're familiar with what was done before, from there to the right where the sidewalk was fresh in front of the library. From that section to that section, that sidewalk will be redone with the concrete brick inlay, and those lights will be replaced with the dual lights that are currently to match the ones that are on the square that was part of the first part of the downtown revitalization. Then from Savings Hardware and Logie Insurance, clear to the end of Washington Street, down to, what is that street?
Madison.
What's that?
Madison.
Oh,
Madison.
All the way to the Y.
almost to the Y, to the parking lot there.
Okay.
Past, all the way down to Hawking College's building down there.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Clear to Hawking College's building, we're gonna replace that with ADA compliant sidewalks all the way down through there. And we're gonna put decorative single globe streetlights all the way down through there.
Nice.
So that's what the project consists of, both sides of the street, all the way down through there.
So sidewalks and curbing, then I'm assuming?
No curbing on that street because majority of that street is brick. So actually, I take that back. There is some curbing on there, but not much. Now, when we go to the second phase of this and we're on Columbus Street, there will be more curbing, but I didn't mess with too much curbing because when we mess with curbing and brick, we open cans that I don't want to mess with. But there is some curbing in this project, if you saw in the back on that. That'll be down toward the west side of town. So yes, I do stand correct on it. Thank you.
Will this grant cover the entire project? Or do we have costs involved for it?
No, there's no cost for us. Now, part of the contract that the ordinance that you guys covered, the purpose of that ordinance and then within that contract is flexibility. If the state does not give them 100% funding, is the flexibility to reduce the scope inside that. So if for whatever reason they don't get 100% of their funding, that scope could be reduced. Now, if that scope does get reduced, I have every intention of coming back to council and asking to move that chunk onto phase 2 of this House Bill 377 submission that we're going to go for.
And we'll be submitting on that phase
Absolutely.
2 just for us, or will we be in another group?
We'll be in another group. So that's where we'll partner with all the other folks that we plan on partnering with. Typically, we should be the lead agency on that, working with all of our partners here in town. We'll likely be partnering with them again, but there's many other partners in town that we'll work with. It's just, it was a last minute luck of the draw that they're letting us jump on their project. They have their daycare center on Washington Street, and they also have their main headquarters building on Washington Street. So it worked out well that we were able to jump on their project with them as a last minute ad. So grateful for they let us.
What's the time frame for this project?
So they have a very hard deadline that it has to be in Friday. And then I do not know what the state deadline is for approval. As soon as the state gives them approval, we have 90 days till we got to be in the ground. So our engineer already knows that. He already has tentative plans. So he knows basically from the time the state says go. And he already has, I mean, it's sidewalk, you know, so it's not, there's not a whole lot of engineering there. So from the time the state says go, we are final engineering, out for bid, start executing work. So that was the definition of shovel ready.
This might be a little more in-depth question, but what about the trees down through there that'll cause damage to the sidewalk?
So that's, we have in the bid, I don't know if you read the bid in the back, there's engineering while working through it, or there's upfront engineering and engineering during the project, and then we'll have to address that as we go during the project. That's why that was specifically broken out in the bid in the back of it, to deal with that as we go. I don't know what the right answer to that is. We'll have to work with the tree commission and either go around it, work with arborists, you know, ADA compliant sidewalk, tree ADA compliant sidewalk. Unfortunately, well, that decision, I don't want to answer that question right now, but that decision may have to be made later. So a lot of our sidewalks are not ADA compliant anymore, unfortunately. And I've had many complaints in my tenure here about non-compliance with ADA, and I think we need to get back to ADA compliance. It's unfair to our folks that are handicapped. So if we're going to do it, we need to do it right, in my opinion.
Okay. Any more questions? No, I'll second that. All right, Mr. Dunphy. Oh, I'm not Mr. Dunphy. Yeah, Mr. Dunphy. Yes. Mr. Booth.
Yes.
You okay? Hang on some more. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
He's just talking to himself.
Mr. Clement.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor. Yes. Mr. Chop.
Yes.
Okay, then we got some firefighter information.
Yep, I got 5 volunteers, 4 volunteers and 1 new person I'd like to recommend to council to be brought on temporarily to help fill our manning shortfall to offset. I'll just turn them over to you. Names, these have been recommended to me by Chief Barber to
Mark Wright, who's a current volunteer, Christopher Jacoby, who is a current volunteer, Norton Phillips, which is a current volunteer, Lucas Ralston, which is a current volunteer, Dave Kowalowski will be a new member. Chief, is this what your recommendation is?
Yes. Matter of fact, 4 of those names were actually previous part-time firefighters before.
Okay. And for you, Scott, Mr. Frank, you recommend these also?
yes, these would be temporary part-time folks up to 6 months if needed to help fill manning shortfalls.
Okay, motion to appoint temporary firefighters for a 6-month period at the maximum. Mark Wright, Christopher Jacoby, Norton Phillips, Lucas Ralston, and Dave Kowalowski. Yes. As per recommendation per Scott Frank and Chief Barber.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Booth.
Yes.
Mr. Nick Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Clement.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mr. Chop.
Yes.
Mr. Gunther, yes. And that's it. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Clement.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mr. Child.
Yes.
Mr. Gunther, yes. Mr. Booth.
Yes.
Everyone, have a good night. All right.